Scheim's lead at the start of the show at 6:25 this morning was that the entire offense is broken, every element of it.
That's correct. As a former member of the Gresham Keefe program, we like to break things into blame pie. Mac Jones only deserves like a 25% piece of this pie. It's not entirely Mac Jones at all. Like the offense in general is just straight up broken. I think the majority of it is the coaching and the way they've gone about building this offense in this style of NFL, and then the other portion of it is the offensive line. They can't block to save their lives.
Well, next season they ought to get Jeff Saturday in here to fix it.
Oh yeah, he's going to really solve all those problems.
See, I think Scheim is low on his percentage. Because
here we go.
No, because I would.
It's so predictable.
No,
it's all Mac's fault.
No, it's not all Mac's fault. I do agree that there's a blame pie that goes around.
Yum.
So if it is the play calling, why did the play calling look good with Zappe?
I mean, in your mind, it did.
No. Answer the question.
Did it look different to you?
It looks better.
It didn't look that much different to me.
Oh, okay. So you didn't think it looked different to you?
No, that's what I just said. Yeah.
All right.
I sometimes you
Are you answering as Greg or as Pat Fleury?
All right. Well,
oftentimes you answer with some sort of shock in your voice, but yes. No.
I guess that then that makes no sense.
I think. Listen. Is my suspicion that they dumbed it down a little bit for Bailey Zappe?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So then dumb it down for Mac. What you're saying, if it doesn't look different, the play calling, then you would feel like I feel. If it didn't look different with Zappe, then it's the person running the offense.
What percentage of the broken offense, which by the way is coming off a couple wins, what percentage of that is on Mac Jones?
I would say that the play calling is probably about 40. No, I'd probably say about 35%. Then I would say your skill set is probably 20%. And then do the math on what it is. That would leave you about 45%.
So the offensive line you don't have in the blame pie?
Well, I would put that in your skill set, in your
skill
personnel.
position players and your O-line?
Yeah, that's your personnel.
Because I had a similar thought process, right? Like I think about 40% of it is the issue of the play calling and the coaching. Like to me, that is the major chunk, and then that 35% range is your skill position players and your offensive line, because your offensive line straight up stinks, and your skill position players don't get open very efficiently, and then the rest of it would be Mac Jones, which would be the 25%.
So then I would ask you this question because Greg didn't want to answer it. Why did the offense look better?
I did answer it.
No, you didn't.
It didn't look that different to me. The play calling. I did answer your question.
But that makes no sense.
You drive me nuts.
But Bailey looked
your
way
question.
better with that play calling.
Bailey Zappe to me looked no better than Mac Jones.
Oh, okay. Do you really believe that?
Yes.
So the two.
I do really believe it. Yes.
Well, you're the only one who sees it that way. Then I don't know how you watch the games. Then I'd have to sit down and watch the games.
I'm not the only one. Fourier also feels the same way. Thank you.
Fourier says.
If you watch the games that they played, and you can sit here and say that the offense looks the same, so that means the play calling is the same, and the quarterback looked the same, then we're watching two different games. We watching two different games. For you, if you can honestly say that.
I mean, I would also say that if you look at the overall just performance of Mac, not the play call, not throwing people open, he looks rattled.
Right.
He looks like a guy that is unsure of himself.
I agree with that.
So why doesn't Zappe look that way?
Because he wasn't the starting quarterback. He wasn't a first-round pick. He wasn't the starting quarterback who got your team to the playoffs and then had your head coach refuse to say publicly that he was going to get his job back.
So now it's the
He didn't spend his first season in the NFL with one of the better offensive coordinators guiding him through his first season, which was, by most accounts, pretty successful, and then have that ripped away from him and some sort of new offense installed for virtually no reason.
So doesn't that then concern you that you now need your coaching staff to basically pat you on the back to let you know that you're doing well, everything's going okay,
I'm old enough to remember when getting Patriots Player of the Week was something we mocked. When we mocked how players needed to be coddled by the coaching staff.
Right, they laughed at Brady for it.
And can we not say that just Bailey Zappe is just this free spirit, can go out there and not look rattled? He was on the road, got thrown in there when no one thought he was going to. I said that we should throw him in. I got laughed at. Nobody would know his name unless he performed well.
Did he look rattled in the second half?
Oh,
against
here we
the
go.
Bears?
Knew
He
that was
didn't
gonna.
look rattled.
No, he didn't look rattled.
He looked unprepared.
Yeah, and he looked like, I don't want to make many mistakes because I know that they just threw me in for Mac, and I know I'm more supposed to be the backup.
And I'm talking about the game in Green Bay, an away team going against them, getting thrown in because Brian Hoyer gets hurt, and he doesn't even look rattled at all. He didn't look like a deer in headlights. He went out and took care of business. They didn't get the win, but I think that there's a lot of pressure on him too. He was a no-name guy. Nobody would be talking about him if this all didn't fall into place the way that it did.
Well, I just don't understand your theory, Greg. Like, now the quarterback needs to be pumped up by the coach. He needs to be – it's almost like he's the kid in class that even when he doesn't do well on his test, he's still got to get a smiley face sticker because you don't want him to kind of –
No, I don't think he needs to be pumped up by the coach, but I think that when you're – in the situation that he's in,
right,
and you're hurt, and the coach refuses to publicly say that you're going to get your job back, it can create a question of confidence. I completely understand
but that doesn't
it happens to anybody it would happen to anybody in any job anywhere.
But that doesn't concern you that because he doesn't get it
doesn't concern me because I believe that has nothing to do with his ability eventually to be a good quarterback in this league.
Wiggy, you and Ty talked about this yesterday when you guys were talking about Parcells and how he used to mess with your head as much as he possibly could because he wants to try and break you, right? Like, he would have snapped Mac Jones in half mentally. If this is the reaction then of him not getting the reassurance to get his starting job back, Parcells would have ruined this guy.
Right, but aren't you concerned that if this is his reaction with Bill, that he's headed in the wrong direction?
Oh, 100%. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that, like, if you need the reassurance of your coach to keep your mental sanity, like, I don't think you have the makeup to be playing a game this difficult.
Bill told me, he said, if you don't cut the backside off of this play, because I got beat in against the Rams, if you don't cut it off, I'm going to cut you and somebody else is going to do it. So if I get in my feelings for that, and now I'm thinking about that, and I'm in my feelings, and I'm letting this pressure get to me, I'm just putting myself in a bad position.
Were you praising Bill up and down for adjusting to today's players and doing things differently than the way he did it with you guys?
But he hasn't changed to that
That's
point.
all I ever hear from Courtney and Scheim is about how everybody is full of anxiety and everybody's struggling.
Right, but
I agree with you there, and I think you look across the league, and there are other NFL coaches that are dealing with much more severe issues on their team, and they're putting all of their faith. You look in Cleveland, people were saying, "Well, Jacoby Brissett's been playing pretty well, and Deshaun Watson, great player, but we haven't seen him play in a year and a half." And they were like, "No, he's our guy. When Deshaun Watson's back, he's our guy." Bill Belichick wouldn't do that for Mac Jones, coming off an injury.
And I guess my issue, Greg, would be then you should be really pissed at Bill Belichick because according to you, he's created a system whereby he has ruined his most important asset.
Listen, I think he made a huge mistake the way he handled that. I don't know why he did.
Well, he's currently still handling it.
I don't know why he did.
Every day that Matt Patricia is the offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, no. Scheim is, I think, spot on when he puts 25% of this on Mac Jones.
I figured that was pretty fair.
Of course it is.
But isn't it your job as a professional athlete and as a man to be able to battle through?
What are you now? You're questioning his manhood?
No, I'm saying because
you
you're
can
an
only battle
adult.
through so
men
many
are more
obstacles,
sensitive than
Listen,
women. So
you're an adult. Is what I'm
Person.
saying. When I say as a man, that means you're an adult. It's not like he's a high school kid and doesn't understand how to deal with the pressures of everything
nobody
that's going on.
is suggesting. I don't think that he's out there in the fetal position. He is questioning.
You are.
No, I'm not.
You're saying
I've never
he's
said
broken.
anything. Stop putting words in my mouth.
Oh, gosh.
He's sitting there questioning. When he's making a decision, he's got a question in his head because you and the fans and the media all said, "Well, Bailey Zappe, The guy, he goes in, I get happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I
I can't take you seriously in this outfit.
I know.
Like
course
you
he's
getting all red
questioning
and
it.
hot
No,
and
but
bothered on
Of
this.
course he's
Do
questioning
you let the
himself.
people in the Twitch chat affect how you run the show?
Yeah,
No.
me, I do.
No,
Curtis
right.
might, but I don't.
You don't, right?
No.
So you're able to be able
I'm
to.
a different person.
Well,
It's
you're
called-
PBR, Greg. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's called being able to handle the adversity mentally. Some people can't do it.
Zappe.
And I think what I'm saying is
What
that
a rendition.
if you can't do that, then you can't play in the National Football League.
And your belief is that he can't handle it.
As of right
Just
now,
to be clear.
as of right now, can he?
Yeah.
You just said
yes.
he's broken, so no, he can't.
Who said he's broken?
I
You
thought,
did.
Yeah, you just
No,
said
Tommy
you agreed.
Curran said on
you
this show
agreed with
yesterday that he was
Shime.
broken.
You agreed with
Shime
Shime.
didn't say that
No.
Mac Jones was broken.
Greg,
what are
Greg
you talking
agreed with
about?
me that Mac deserves some blame.
Shime
Yeah,
said the
performance
offense
deserves
was
some
broken.
blame.
Yes,
I'm pretty
I don't
sure if
think
we
Mac
run it back,
Jones
you
is
say,
broken.
I agree, he's broken.
I never said he was broken. My Lord, the term broken should be reserved for somebody who has suffered some kind of unrecoverable consequence in their life.
Or Alfredo
You
sauce.
just Courtney is right.
Broken?
You just said it's me, it's the fans, it's
Yeah.
his coaches.
Yes, you're in his head.
So you broke
100%.
him.
So
he's
he's
not broken.
Oh.
How is he broken?
Okay, then why? Then Wiggy being in his head shouldn't matter.
How
Right.
is he broken?
all right. Maybe he's not.
Give me an
affecting
example
his
of how
play.
he's broken.
He looks stressed out. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. Everybody is seeing it besides you. I don't know
Stressed
if
out. He didn't throw a single interception this past week.
When is the
Oh,
How
duck
does he look
post?
my-
broken?
Okay.
How does he look broken?
He looks uncomfortable
Yes,
in the pocket.
every
great.
single
That's
time.
that's
and I know
great.
you're going to be like, well, the offensive line.
No, the offensive line stinks.
Okay, so
They have more penalties than any other offensive line in the NFL. They stink.
Who put that line together?
Bill Belichick
And
did.
who
What's-
hired Matt Patricia as the offensive line coach?
Bill Belichick did. So then get off of Mac and be all over
All
Bill
right, you know
Curtis.
what? From here on out, listen. It's not Mac. That Mac has 10% of the blame. It's on Bill. It's on the O line. It's on the skill players. That's it. So when
and fans stop
And how
being
much
mean.
percent of
fans
the credit,
stopped
Wiggy,
being
do you
mean.
think these people gave Mac last year for the team making the playoffs and winning 10 games?
a couple weeks ago, Greg ran down a bunch of stats about how he was one of the greatest rookie quarterbacks to walk the face of the
So
earth.
it wasn't Josh McDaniels because I didn't hear his name mentioned
No.
when we talked about
No,
that.
and last year, you know what, the O line was kind of similar, the same. There was few guys that are no longer here, but it was about Mac Jones.
If Bailey Zappe had been your starter all season long, what would your record be right now?
14-0.
Probably 4-5 or 5-4.
Yeah, it's probably the same
It's
record.
just about the
Okay.
same.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Thanks. Thank you.
But
What?
I don't know. I think that if he had started over Brian Hoyer in Green Bay, I think we would have won that game. And I also think,
What?
and I think that if
That's a
he
good
had
point.
gotten the start against Chicago, we would
They
have
would
won
win
that
that-
game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Chicago's offense was
Nope.
locked in. At
No,
that
no, no,
point.
no,
We
no.
were
Nope.
Screwed.
But
I
I think
think-
if he starts the game, it's a different outcome in
Yeah.
Chicago. So yeah, I'd give you 6-3.
And the best part
I'm
is we'll
concerned.
never
Are you-
know. So
are-
you can laugh at me, I can laugh at you. We'll never know.
You said
Right.
the team
No,
stink.
we'll never know.
No.
But
No.
you're advocating for Bailey Zappe to be your starting
But
quarterback.
even if the
going
record
forward.
Yeah,
was
I
the
know. I
same.
have been. That's,
Yeah, I know. You were spot on right at the get go.
Yeah.
So, but spot on what?
This is my
that
league.
he should have been the starter,
Okay,
and then
so-
Brian
so-
Hoyer
so
stunk
Bailey, in
and got
your
hurt,
mind-
and
your
he came
mind,
in, and
just
everybody
to be
said,
clear-
"Oh, Courtney, we should have
Just
laughed
to be
at
clear,
you."
because you keep saying that.
Yep.
Bailey Zappe will be a more successful quarterback in the NFL going forward than Mac
Greg,
Jones,
I-
and he'll be in the NFL longer.
Greg, I have
'Cause
no
that's what
idea
you're
how he'll
suggesting.
do on other teams. On this team, he would be a better starting quarterback than Mac Jones right now, and that's what I believe. I don't know what to tell you.
But going forward, you believe he will too, correct?
On this team, yes.
No,
No,
why
on this
just-
team?
Why is it just this team?
Because I don't know who has a higher ceiling, who has a better skill set between
well,
the two.
isn't that important to the discussion? Who has
no,
a higher ceiling?
No, because on this team right now, something's not working with Mac Jones. So remove him from the situation, put Bailey Zappe in because it's been working there, and let's move
Okay,
forward.
so you spent a first-round pick
yes.
on Mac Jones, and because in your mind something isn't working,
Yep.
you're prepared to
Yeah, okay, let's just waste a season and try to figure it out.
Sabotage to get rid of him and say, done with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You tell him you spent a
That's
first round.
ridiculous.
Tell Greg you spent a first round pick on N'Keal Harry. So guess what? You got rid of him.
Like,
Spent a
Bill's
first round
done
pick on
this
Dominique
before.
Beasley.
Right, you spent a first-round pick on Sony Michel. I mean, the list goes on and
Yeah.
on
I
and
mean,
on.
who could forget Isaiah Wynn?
And
But like,
Isaiah-
I just want to make sure I'm clear here. So if we spend a first round pick on somebody, then even if it's not working, we should just stick with them.
Oh, it's a good point.
Until it works?
You need to define to
It's a
me
good
not
point.
working. What is your definition of not
Shime
working?
Friday and Monday.
Yes.
Touche.
What is your definition of not working?
I don't know. I don't see them getting a win against the Bills. I don't moving
okay.
forward.
Well, now you're
the
talking
Jets
in
are playing.
advance of what.
Okay.
You think Zappe's gonna this? Team,
Yeah, I would. I think he would do
He
better.
beat the Bills.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
You-
You know
To be
what?
fair, Zach Wilson
You know
would
what?
beat the Bills.
You know
this
what?
team with Bailey Zappe would beat the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
With a hurt Josh Allen.
So if you're
This is
criticizing,
hot take central.
No, if
right
you're-
here,
Well,
I gotta
because I'm
tell
just
ya.
done with this like back and forth thing. Well, he had a great rookie season. I can't hear that over and over again. And we can go back to the Bears and how Bailey Zappe had an epic fail once they came out of halftime. We keep going back and doing the same, circle jerk, and it's just like
Can't say that.
oh,
you could
You're
say
okay.
A circle dance.
okay.
There you go.
I just
Well, if you're going to criticize,
you've anointed. Just to be clear, you've anointed a guy the starter of the New England Patriots for the future, who you've seen in 3 games.
yeah, I would like to see him in more.
oh,
One of which he in the second half he had 2 interceptions and fumbled.
Yep.
you
See, here we go.
You anointed him the starter, and you only saw him in 2 preseason games.
Who?
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Uh,
over Cam Newton. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yes.
because I saw Cam Newton's season before,
Right.
where he had the highest percentage of throwing the football into the dirt in the NFL.
Well,
Yes.
that's what Mac Jones is doing a lot this
Hey,
year.
at least he led the league in something. I mean,
Right? Well, no, but through the first, I already gave you the numbers through like the first 7 or 8 games. Statistically, they're the same, and we've seen Mac throwing the ball in the dirt, overheads, way out of reach of guys. So you anointed
You mean
him.
when the receiver's running the wrong route?
No, when the receiver's running wide open.
Okay.
We've seen that, right? So you anointed him to
You mean
stop.
when he's in a shotgun because they don't want him play action?
No, when he's on the center.
Okay.
He was on the center. They ran a play action on the center, and he threw the ball to the first row over Tyquan Thornton's head against the Chicago Bears. I think it might have been the second or third play of the game. If you really want to get into it, and you really want to deep dive 101 and like Orlowski, all you got to do is turn the tape on. Like everybody tells me, he threw a pick 6 to the guy for the New York Jets, and everybody says, well, if Jacoby Myers goes out, the play's open. No, if he threw the ball inside.
I saw your attempt to spin that, and it was horrendous.
No, actually, if
It
Jacoby.
was absolutely horrendous.
Actually, if Mac.
this is the no spin zone.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's the proof is right there.
No,
I don't.
it wasn't right there.
Yeah, it was.
Proof
It was
is in the
not. It
pudding.
was
I
not
feel
is
like
in the
I'm
pudding.
buzzed right now.
You had some ridiculous.
too.
you
Oh,
had-
Curtis, the only
you had
reason
some
why.
ridiculous-
I'm not mad at you
your,
again.
your,
No.
your suggestion was that even if Myers turned the wrong way, the DB would have got the ball. in.
Actually,
That's a great
that
way.
was the most ridiculous thing I've
No,
ever
no.
seen. You like dramatically go, "Hey, I did a deep dive on this. Go to my
It was.
Instagram."
I actually
it
think
wasn't.
I actually think that
wasn't.
I actually think Myers turned the right way, and the quarterback should have thrown him inside because the DB's running out to the flat. So, but that's neither here nor there. Here's what I will say: the problem, and this is what I'll say to Courtney, and is that the drunkenness that these I don't even want to call them apologists have, is that they don't want to put none of the blame on him.
I do.
That was my lead. No, you
25%
don't.
of the blame is. What do you mean? I keep saying it.
Oh, stop. You don't believe that. You're just saying it just to keep us happy.
I don't believe it.
Nope.
This is great. You
You're
want to put
turning red. It's
100%.
giving me
You want to put
anxiety.
100% of the blame on Mac Jones.
I never said 100.
You 55%.
He said
I
45.
said
You said dumb. You
I think he
said
said
you did some
40.
weird math problem.
I said I said 40%.
You had some equation where it's like, 35% is.
I
on
Carry
Dan,
the 2.
I said 40%. You almost fell out your chair.
I think 12% is on Dan Kraft.
You're,
Hey, leave him alone.
you're blaming everybody. You're blaming Pat Patriot. You're blaming the people in the stands. Some guy looked at Mac at the gas station the wrong way. Now the poor guy. You expect him to have a great game?